Alright boys, I'm back once again with another video. Now, admittedly, this video was supposed to come yesterday, but I've been feeling like shit the last 3 days. Now, this isn't an excuse, I have to mention that. I've been feeling like shit the last 3 days. I somehow got today mixed up with Saturday. I got up to go record the vid, look out my window at 5 o'clock. I'm like, wait, where are all the people getting ready to go clubbing? Then I realized it was Sunday. So I say that to say this channel is called From Boys to Men, and it's a journey to go from being a boy to a man. And it's also another journey, perpetual journey until you die, to become a better man. And no journey is complete without ups and downs. So I had to mention the down because I don't want this channel to be like, oh, he can't put a foot wrong. That's just not the dynamic I want from this channel. And I also say that to say it's very important to hold yourself accountable for places where you slack. So I slacked and I'm going to minimize it. It won't be happening again anytime soon. Now, on a more serious note, that note was pretty serious, I can't lie, it really was. But on a more serious note, today's topic, or the next 3 weeks actually, I'm going to be discussing testosterone in men. And you've probably heard self-improvement YouTubers talking about, oh, there's a war on testosterone, and you just let it slip. You're like, in one ear, out the other, cool. And people will be like, oh, you're half the man your great-grandfather was, yeah. You're like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. You know the memes of how our parents used to go to school, that shit. But it's really, really true, you know? It's really true. There is a real epidemic on testosterone. So today's video is going to be about how and why, or okay, not why, but how your testosterone is being annihilated. Next week's video is going to be why testosterone is so important to men. And the week after that is going to be actionable steps and solutions you can implement in your day-to-day life to correct and potentially even increase your testosterone past what it should normally be. Now, remember when I said this is a real epidemic? Make no mistake, it's not a hyperbolic statement. This is a real epidemic on a global scale. Multiple countries have done studies on their male populace to find gradually decreasing levels of testosterone. For example, the USA, Denmark, and Israel, just to name a few countries on my list. All of these countries are in completely different parts of the world, you know, and they all have a similar situation going on. Why? Well, I believe this, I know this direct link. This decrease in testosterone has a direct link to the dramatic decrease in male fertility, quality of male sperm, quantity of male sperm, and it also has a link to the horrendous increase in male ED. Like, you should not be 24 years old and you can't get your dick hard. That should not be a thing, and it's increasing in prevalence. There are many reasons for your test being plummeted. I got something in my eye, sorry guys, fucking hell. There are many reasons for your test plummeting, but I believe the main culprit, just from the scale of how much we're exposed to it and how often we're exposed to it, is endocrine disruptors. Now, for those of you who are unaware, endocrine disruptors are toxins, chemicals, substances that disrupt your endocrine system. So when I say disrupt, obviously I mean like to mess with the natural flow of. That's the most simple definition I can give you. And endocrine, whenever you hear the term endocrine, think of hormones. So for example, the system in your body that regulates your hormonal functions, productions, etc., is called the endocrine system. When you have problems with your endocrine system, you go to an endocrinologist. And what do endocrinologists study? Endocrinology. So when you hear endocrine, just think ding, 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 hormones. The more you know, guys, the more you know. So yeah, endocrine disruptors are chemicals or toxins or substances. I can't speak English. Chemicals, toxins, or substances that mess with the general function of your hormones. And endocrine disruptors are so unbelievably widespread, it's pretty scary. So, just to name a few things: pesticides, gardening products, adhesives like glue, personal care products like sunscreen, pharmaceutical drugs like ibuprofen and stuff like that, plastics, so any form of plastics, industrial products, cleaning products, you name it. So I'm going to give you some more sophisticated examples. I've got 5 examples. So let's start with the first one, atrazine. Now, atrazine is a weed killer. Atrazine has been banned in the EU or Europe. I can't remember exactly which one it is, but it's been banned in the EU or Europe since 2004 because it is a known pollutant and a known endocrine disruptor. However, in the USA, land of the free, that is still the second most used weed killer in the entire country, atrazine. It's found in high levels in tap water, not very high levels, but concerningly high levels in tap water, lakes, and rivers. Obviously, if you know the water cycle, if it's in your lakes and your rivers, it's going to go into your system through the sophisticated process of the water cycle. Now, the way it gets into the water cycle, into the system, is like you spray it on a weed, for example, then it goes into the soil, the groundwater, takes it to like the nearest lake or river, and then goes to the river, out into the ocean, blah 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 blah, normal stuff, water cycle. And you might be thinking, it's not that big of a problem, right? Well, a study on frogs that was subjected to atrazine, so relatively they were given more atrazine than what a human is subjected to on a day-to-day basis, but the quantity was lower, obviously because frogs are way smaller than us, right? So a study on frogs literally turned male frogs into fully functioning female frogs that could lay eggs and produce offspring. Just think about that. Them ribbit niggers, they were hanging their nuts, and then they were given atrazine, and then they became bitches. Unlucky. So, on a more serious side, that is very concerning, and that is in high levels in American tap water. But let's move on. Bisphenol A, or BPA. I'm not calling it bisphenol A every time I reference it. That's long. So, humans drink 1.2 million plastic water bottles per minute. Every single one of these plastic water bottles, or almost every single one of these plastic water bottles, has BPA in them. Where I live, in the UK, BPA is not banned apart from in baby bottles and in baby food. So it makes you wonder, why do they ban it in babies but not for the rest of the population? Interesting. Food for thought. So BPA, like I said, is in all plastics. So by nature, it will be in canned food because most canned foods are lined with plastic. It's also in water bottles, obviously, as mentioned. But like even normal stuff like cartons of drink, like a juice drink you'll go to the corner shop and buy, or like milk for Americans. I know Americans have like cardboard boxes, and those boxes are lined with plastic. Plastic has BPA in it. So the more your food products sit in that BPA, because obviously most foods have preservatives now, so the more your also preservatives are another form of endocrine disruptor, but anyway, the more your food sits in those BPA infected apparatuses, whatever the fuck, the more it seeps into your food, and then you end up consuming it. It's also in tap water. Microplastics, etc., get into the water, so it leaches into the tap water. But yeah, it's also in the coating of thermal paper receipts. So I stopped getting receipts when I first learned. I actually learned all of this stuff back in like 2021. Yeah, something like that. But I topped up my knowledge. Obviously, I've got some notes. But yeah, I topped up my knowledge so I could give you guys this good video. Now, 93% of Americans have detectable levels of BPA in their urine. 93% have detectable levels of BPA in their urine. Known endocrine disruptor. Cool. So, hormonal birth control. So how many of you guys genuinely think you're on birth control? None of you, right? Because you're men. Most of you, if you're probably watching this video, are most probably a man. Well, if you drink tap water, take a shower, wash your hands, you are actually subjected to a fraction of hormonal birth control. Let me explain how this works. So 100 million women worldwide are on birth control, right? I explained the water cycle earlier, but that will be fractional when it comes to like rain and stuff. But when women who are on birth control urinate, and make no mistake, once again, there will be a woman in your immediate vicinity, especially if you live in a big metropolitan city, there will be a woman in your immediate vicinity, or multiple women in your immediate vicinity who are on birth control. So they'll urinate. That urine contains estradiol, and that, obviously, estradiol is the main component of hormonal birth control, estrogen. So estradiol is known as a robust compound. So because they don't really care about us, shout out to Michael Jackson, they don't actually go through the process of breaking down the estradiol so that it's not recycled into our water systems. So there are high amounts of estradiol in our water system. So we are fractionally subjected to hormonal birth control without our consent. Estradiol has been found to cause male fish to grow female sex organs. Yeah, it's real out here in these trenches. It really is real. Now, phthalates, spelled PHTHALATES, weird spelling, is found in stuff like, or they are found in stuff like shampoo, soap, cologne, deodorant, plastic toys, detergents, cleaning products, garden hoses, sunscreen, and more. This is known to plummet testosterone production, and also known to have a horrendous effect on male fertility levels. Some phthalates are still legal in the UK, some of them are banned, but all of them are known to be endocrine disruptors. Now, the final one, which is how I know everyone to some degree is actively ingesting endocrine disruptors, is milk. If you think about what I've told you so far this video, every single process every step of the process whereby milk ends up in your system has endocrine disruptors involved in it. For example, what do the cows eat? Crops. Those crops are sprayed with pesticides, weed killers, etc., known endocrine disruptors. And then when the cow's lactating, producing milk, it's injected with hormones to make it produce more milk for a greater yield of milk. And then once that milk is packaged in your bottle, plastic bottle for the UK, in America it will be plastic lined cardboard carton, it's sitting in endocrine disruptors, leaching them in, and then it's also got preservatives in it. So and then on top of that, actually, if you drink it out of a plastic cup, there's more BPA in there. So every single step has loads of endocrine disruptors involved. And then you drink that milk. And I'm guilty of this because I don't have the funds to constantly buy organic milk. And even then, who's to say you know whether the organic milk is going to have less endocrine disruptors in it? Obviously, it should do, and it most probably does, but you never know. Now, I'm telling you all this stuff not to scare you, and this isn't the only, like I mentioned before, this isn't the only thing that's railing our testosterone levels as men, but I think it's the main culprit. There are other stuff like porn, not sleeping enough, not consuming healthy, like enough dietary healthy fats, like from avocado, polyunsaturated fats, not trans fats. Everything trans is bad. Oh dear. That's gonna get clipped in the future. Everything trans is bad. So I'll say it again. But I believe endocrine disruptors are the main thing. So I'm telling you this not to scare you, but just to inform you so you can make wiser decisions in the future in regards to your testosterone. That will be it for this video. Look out for the next week's video and the week after that's video. It's going to be continuations on this series. Like I mentioned, next week is going to be about why testosterone is important to men and kind of like why and how it benefits us and why it's imperative to have good or healthy, real healthy testosterone levels, which in my opinion is if you're between 18 to 40, I think you should never have anything less than 500. Why it's important to have that, and then the week after that is going to be what actionable steps you can put into place and how to put those into place. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope it was valuable. The London sirens are loud as fuck, pissing me off. But yeah, I've got a bit of a headache as well. Those sirens aren't helping. But yeah, man, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you're looking forward to the next ones. I'll see you later. Bye, 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 bye.